बिकॉज़ सबको लगता है कि टीवी पे जो कमर्शियल आ रहा है बस वो ही मार्केटिंग है। कभी कोई सेल्स को मार्केटिंग बोलता है। माय डैड एंड माय ग्रैंडपेरेंट्स वर लाइक, कर क्या रही है? चल क्या रहा है? इससे अच्छा शादी कर लो, ऑल ऑफ दोज़।
What are the courses that one can go for after the 12th standard? Is it important to do it from renowned university?
A person could go to an ISB and do nothing about what they've done in that education. A person could go to an OK college.
What made you go to ISB? As you already had the experience in startup and even big organization, what extra did you learn there?
ये डेडलाइन है, करना है करो, नहीं करना मतलब गॉन.
What is the role of a brand strategist and what is the role of a product manager?
If I ask you Coca-Cola, you'll remember something. Either it's a color, or it's a jewel, or it's an actor.
What is the average salary a marketer can earn?
They could be earning a lot more.
How can a woman achieve the same level of salary as men do?
Men, and they would be earning a lot more. And चुपचाप बैठो, ज़्यादा बोलना नहीं. As a woman, I was taught not to speak up, say yes to everything. Why do you not come and speak about so many things? Are you scared to speak up in a meeting?
So hello and welcome back to another episode of Industry Experts. Today on our show, we have Miss Chaitali Bhatia, the Vice President of Marketing and Sales at Almabetter. Previously, she has worked in various large and small size organizations where she has handled brand strategies, managed strategic content, social media marketing, engaged in product marketing, campaign management. She has also held a lot of leadership roles as well. So, in short, she is an all-rounder marketer with a strong voice, stunning looks, and a brilliant mind. Hi, Chaitali. Welcome to College Vidya.
Hi, sweet Vidya. How are you?
Great. I feel glad that I'll be talking to you today, and a lot of our students will be getting to know about how a marketer works in this environment in today's world. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audiences?
Yes, would love to. Thank you for having me here, Sweekriti. And I'm Chaitali, as you already know. I have nearly 14 plus years of experience across different industries, of which maximum experience has been in the marketing field. I have worked in bigger organizations like KPMG and Watson Wyatt, and I've worked across many small organizations like startups and traditional startups like with a photographer and all of it. So I've worked at ezetap by razorpay. Today I'm a VP marketing at Almabetter. And that's been my journey. I have an education in economics honors from SRCC and then an MBA from ISB.
Oh my God. That's a brilliant introduction. And I mean, you have had like a really fascinating journey. I think काफी कुछ किया है आपने, काफी सारे experiences हैं आपके पास, and I think काफी versatile experience है आपके पास. How did you become a marketer, and how can one become a marketer if somebody wants to become a marketer?
Great question. How did I become a marketer? I think long back when I was even studying back in school, I was pretty sure about psychology or consumer psychology, one of the two. And psychology used to fascinate me. And at that time, I used to see a lot of ads and I used to see a lot of TV commercials. And I was like, I think I enjoy doing videos and editing and thinking about all of it and how is it that you can present certain thing in a good way. Slowly, I started understanding about brand positioning, strategy. You start also when you're in school and you're in college, you have a very minimal understanding of what marketing really is or what it could be. Because सबको लगता है कि टीवी पे जो कमर्शियल आ रहा है बस वो ही मार्केटिंग है और कभी कोई सेल्स को मार्केटिंग बोलता है. पेरेंट्स से पूछो तो वो पता नहीं किस चीज को मार्केटिंग बोलते हैं, राइट? आई फेल्ट दैट आई वांटेड टू डू समथिंग रिलेटेड टू कंज्यूमर साइकोलॉजी और साइकोलॉजी एंड आई वाज लाइक आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड पीपल एंड देन डिलीवर समथिंग. वहां से माय थॉट ऑफ वांटिंग टू डू मार्केटिंग केम इन. But just to answer the other part of the question, which is how can somebody else or somebody who's thinking of becoming a marketer, how can they become a marketer? I think the first thing is what drives you. Just understanding that, hey, am I creative? Do I have a creative bent of mind? Am I analytical? And do I love the different aspects of how something looks? उसका design कैसा है versus content कैसा है? मैं उस चीज को कैसे receive कर रहा हूँ? So the idea behind marketing is understanding the consumer first from any product or company perspective and serving them information or that product in a certain packaged manner so that they want to consume it.
Right.
So whether it's eating or whether it's education or whatever, so giving it to them in a packaged manner or in a certain manner which has certain kind of storytelling or connects with their emotions, and then you've presented it to them in a way that they find value in that, and they're able to consume it. So it is something just before sales, or something that sales can use to kind of sell the product. The third part of it is something that is visible, and that is the perception of that product in the minds of the people. All of that in different ways is marketing. And if you feel that you have creativity, you have the analysis, you love numbers in some way, and you understand what people want, you love understanding psychology, then I think you could become a marketer. You may or may not need, there are then different elements that come in, because there is numbers, there is strategy, there is a lot more things that you learn along the way, communication skills.
Why do you say number a lot of time? Why do you think mathematics or number is important? Because a lot of students are not good at maths.
So when I say numbers, and I think I've spoken to there were 2-3 mentees that I speak to, and they're like, we don't want to do marketing, we just want to do this because we don't like maths that we've done in school. When I say numbers, I don't say maths or quant, because I say that you just have to be friendly with numbers. Just feel the need to look at numbers in a certain way and on a daily basis, because when you're creative, your bent towards numbers is a lot lesser, and I was one of them. I may have been good at numbers, right? But if I were asked, can you do number crunching every day? I'd be like, I don't want to do it. Like for me, it is something that I don't want to be looking at numbers day in and day out, numbers. I would want to do some kind of creativity, storytelling, like podcast, right? And the way you're writing things. So that's where creativity also comes in. So when I say numbers, I don't mean that you need to, there are some basic things that you need to do. For example, probability, percentage, इसमें growth हुई कि नहीं, week on week कहाँ जा रहे हो आप, आपने blog लिखा है तो उसके कितने sessions हो रहे हैं, आपने अपना article डाला है, even if you start a business or even if you're just a content person and you're doing, let's say you've written a blog, don't you want to know how much traffic comes in? For you to see the traffic numbers, you have to be a little friendly with numbers, right? Okay, it was 5 lakh, today it's 5 lakh 10,000.
मतलब एक general idea और मतलब होना चाहिए.
हाँ, मतलब you may need to do excessive number crunching in all kinds of marketing roles, but you need to be friendly with numbers, that you can say that yes, the numbers are moving up, it is growing, it is going down, and some of it you can over time develop also. You may not be very used to it from the beginning. But when you start growing up in your role, and when people start asking you that, okay, how has this impacted? One of the biggest questions that gets asked in marketing field is, how is marketing making an impact back on revenue? And if you can't show that, you can't rise to the leadership level, because then, let's say if we are talking about cricket ads and so many other things, there are many companies or many marketers, leaders who have huge budgets to work with. But then the question comes, what is the ROI, return on investment of that budget? आपके पास 100 रुपए हैं, आपने 100 रुपए मार्केटिंग में कहाँ लगाए और उससे आपने क्या गेन किया, और उससे 500 का गेन आया या 300 का गेन आया, या सिर्फ आप 100 से 400 से 500 बस पैसे डाले ही जा रहे हो और उससे कुछ गेन आ ही नहीं रहा. So that perspective you need to develop if you need to rise up the ladder. And therefore some friendliness with numbers is very important.
Okay, well explained, Chaitali. Okay, but how did your journey start? Like, when was that time that you entered the field of marketing and you felt, okay, this is my calling?
It's a very troubling or a tricky question, because see, so my journey was that I had started off with eco honors, and I wasn't 100% sure at that time. I was like, maybe fashion industry, maybe TV, maybe Bollywood. There were a plethora of things I was thinking about myself. Given that you understand your capabilities, like, what is it that I could be good at? I was very good at dancing as well. And I was like, maybe start my own business in something. So my first step to everything is, okay, you go start with some company. And at that time, I felt that even if I were to get into marketing, why would somebody take me from an SRCC into marketing? your eco honors, why would somebody take me? I wasn't so easy to get marketing for an SRCC grad unless I figured out the opportunities clearly. And my parents were like, my father is a doctor, government officer from the railways, my mom dietitian and a homemaker. So no idea about corporate world, no idea about marketing. If I say something to them, they'd be like, why are you leaving the job that you're currently doing? Right? So I got into Watson Wyatt first. But when I started doing it, sometimes you feel a disconnect that I may be good at this, but I don't feel in line or aligned with what I'm doing. I'm getting up. So I'll give you a funny example, and I always imagine talking about this. I used to work and I would go to the washroom, or I'm walking in the street in the office and I'm imagining some dance moves all the time. And I'm like, I'm so creatively inclined that it is so difficult to every day get up and keep your mind focused on what you're doing. So if natural inclination you have towards something, what is it that you're thinking immediately? You start moving towards that. Right. And I started understanding that this is not it. And then I tried moving into counseling psychology because I thought I'll do consumer psychology. My parents were like, this is all abroad, there's nothing in India. Then I was like, as a rebellious kid, okay, let me do psychology mein kuch bhi. So I will do counseling psychology. And I signed up for that. But after 1 year, I realized I don't want to do psychology exactly, right? And I don't want to do counseling psychology. I 100% wanted to do consumer, and I started becoming more towards consumer. But again, at the time, I was thinking about earning some amount of money, and therefore I took up KPMG, where I did competitive analysis.
At what age were you when you took up your job at KPMG?
KPMG, I think must have been 24, 25.
Okay. So 24, 25, you were still, processing what you were good at and, analyzing.
100%. And in between that, I'd already spent some time with a photographer, behind the scenes, doing business, marketing, all kinds of small things, right? And then at KPMG, I was doing report writing and competitive analysis. And when I was doing all of this, I realized again that there was a huge misalignment with what I want to do. I'm doing all of this because my parents expect me, because I'm from SRCC, there is an expectation of certain salary, and I'm not able to align with what I think I'm happy.
Your passion.
With, right? Even though sometimes we don't understand what is passion, right? I love dancing, I love traveling, but how do you merge it all? You might call 5 things your passion, but can you actually do it day in and day out? And I remember
earn that money with your passion.
See, there has to be some congruence of घर चलाना है, पैसा कमाना है, you want to be able to earn well, to be able to dress up or buy your clothes, live a certain standard of life. So you want to do something that makes you feel good about what you're doing.
Second, why I left journalism.
Yeah, right. And then secondly, you want that every day when you're getting up, you're not thinking, why am I doing this job?
Right.
If you're questioning that and you're questioning that, why am I doing this? And the only alignment is with money, then you're still not fully passionate or fully aligned with what you want to do. And the third thing is, are you putting your strengths to use? Because if you're consistently failing just because, मेरा focus नहीं था, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा, then there is probably some incongruence with what are your strengths. Today when I work, I don't need to work. Because when I get up, I am thinking that. When I sleep, I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
When it comes so naturally that I might be taking a flight and I can do within 5 minutes a job that somebody else may take 4 hours to do because they don't love it.
Yeah.
And the same thing used to happen with me in a KPMG role. While I might be good at it, but I would take 2 to 3 hours for writing that report, even though I was given this high certification in, that British Council had come in to train us on report writing, right? I may have written that report very well, but it took me a lot of time to write that report. It doesn't come absolutely naturally to me to do something like that. So that's when I realized that I think I'm consistently not answering what I need to answer, and I'm not listening to what my body, mind is telling me every time. Yeah. If I have to get up and convince somebody as to why I shouldn't do this, I need to first convince myself as to what I really want to do and why I shouldn't do this, right? So I think it took a little bit of, and also at that time you're earning a certain amount of money that you don't want to go down.
Yeah.
And after 5 years or 3 to 5 years of some kind of experience, you're like, I should be earning at least a certain amount of money, right? But at that time, I was 100% sure that if I don't do it now, I mean, regret it like 10 years ahead and 20 years ahead. And that was the time when I took up my first very conscious decision making and role of marketing. While I had done a lot of it in different fields, this was like content writing manager in Gypsy Shack, which was a travel startup. So two of my very strong passions were starting up and one was marketing or something related to consumer psychology. And I was like, I want to merge it together and I want to see how they take this pamphlet or this paper into a company. How, and I may actually start learning too many skills. And at that time, I knew that I may not get a lot of amount of money because you just start as a content manager. It's a startup. You never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But that risk was worth taking. By the way, I did remote working at least 5 years before COVID when nobody understood remote working.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents telling me, I don't think you're earning. I don't think you're doing anything. My dad and my grandparents were like, kar kya rahi hai? Chal kya raha hai? Isse acha shaadi kar lo, you know, all of those things. But I think it was one of the best decisions of my life because I was, even if I want eating food, I was getting up, I was sleeping, I was consistently thinking about how to solve the problems. They were aligned to my strengths, right? It was talking to customers, whether it was curating the packages, to writing the content for those packages, to email, campaigns. That was the first time that I got the gist of marketing, or I was closest to a formal process of marketing. Within like 3 to 6 months, I became a co-founder and I became a COO. And this is what happens. If you start working on your strengths, you may start the journey very late.
Yeah.
But you will realize that within those months, there are so many influencers that you see. They started way after so many other influencers, but they're so good at it that within 3 to 6 months, they are actually at 100K, 900K already.
Right.
It's because those are their strengths.
Yeah.
And
to understand your own skills and then you work on it.
Yeah, and you need to every day just feel that, am I feeling happy doing this? Am I enjoying the whole process? Because we usually work towards a destination, but we forget what you need to enjoy is the process.
Okay.
So if you're routine working and every day you're enjoying it, the money, the growth will automatically come. And I'm a fine example of it, where I said that, I became a COO very early. And then I also, through all of that, I did 2.5 years of that startup, learned a lot of things about startup.
Startup does teach you a lot of things.
Extreme amount of exposure on sales, website, operations, hiring, firing, HR. I took up any and every role. But good amount of marketing work over there. So right after that, there was obviously ISB, and I've done enough marketing work at ezetap by Razorpay.
Yeah.
So that's what my journey has been.
Yeah, that was a good sum up. If somebody wants to do, get into marketing, into the field of, become a product manager or so, and different other streams in marketing, what are the subjects or what are the courses that one can go for after the 12th standard if a student wants to get into marketing?
So I think people can get into marketing from different fields. If content is your strength, you could take up even journalism or content related courses. If numbers are your strength, take up business related courses. If mass comm is one of the ones which is more on the communication side, on commerce related courses, business related courses, humanities related courses. Actually, the best part is, no matter what course you take up, you could still become a marketer. And I'll explain some part of it. Product marketing managers have a lot more tech knowledge. I've seen a lot of engineers get into marketing, and then they probably are really good at tech related startups. If I am into a tech related startup and I'm writing or doing some marketing work, a tech related startup, so an engineering and a tech background is even better. It only puts you in the better state as compared to other people, right? So it doesn't matter which background you are coming from. So you could take up any of those courses.
What about master's program? For example, if we say that somebody is working as a, product manager, or any marketing roles, how can that person upskill or upgrade to a better position, salary?
That's a good question. In masters, there are a lot of programs very specific to marketing, and that's where you can decide that I need to get into marketing, right? So MBA has a marketing specialization. Marketing courses are there abroad, not many in India, even at a graduation level. In masters, you could do MA in marketing, you could do MSc in marketing, you could do masters in communication and get into marketing. You could choose your specializations in PR versus product versus brand versus generic marketing, any of these, right? All of these fields come under marketing, and these are the broad courses that you could be taking up.
Okay, okay. Is it important to do it from renowned universities, or any MBA would do?
So it depends. I would not say just renowned universities. It is usually a package of who you are, where do you study from, and what do you make of that study. A person could go to an ISB and do nothing about what they've done in that education. A person could go to an okay college, but absolutely turn their life around because they're so passionate that they've picked up very good projects, they've gone to very good companies, and they've shown excellent results that they've grown up the ladder way faster. So, as I said, it could be, you could also do it online, right? It doesn't really matter. What matters is, what is the curriculum? Is it teaching me the relevant industry skills that will be required? So maybe just before doing any masters, do something in marketing and understand what kind of skills may be required. Now, what skills I don't have? Then go check, is the curriculum offering me that skills? Is it offering me that knowledge? Is it exposing me to the right set of people? Is it making me do the right projects? And am I going to ask the right questions after I do this course? Am I in the space to analyze different things from a marketing perspective and say, this is what I can do and this is where we could grow? If it is giving you all of that, then yes, you're in the right place. I would be lying if I say that the renowned colleges don't give you a better platform. While they do, you could still go into, as I said, any of the colleges, because I've seen these people very closely and I've seen their journeys, right? So we cannot discredit the fact that some of the renowned colleges look at some people's education, look at how hard they've worked, and somebody puts in a lot of effort to get into those things. But somebody may not have put in that effort for a college, but they've put in the effort in their journey.
Both
of them, exactly. Both of them could be growing at the same pace, at the same level. It is possible. So it is what you make of it.
So accordingly, what do you think about taking up online degrees? I mean, should a person go for online? Does it hold the same equivalent value, in terms of curriculum? Does it play the equal value in terms of regular versus online? What do you think about that?
So I think a few years back, we were in a space, or we were in a time where remote working wasn't happening. Virtual education was not looked at in a very, very positive way. And people used to think that companies are not going to look at it in an important way. I may not get the exposure. Why should I do this? It was mostly considered a distance learning course, and there weren't too many positive connotations attached to a distance learning course long back. However, if you see today, all the people who've grown, influencer marketing, nutritionists, so many people who are doing remote working, a lot of them didn't even get traditional education. They probably studied a lot of these courses online, and there are a lot of short courses that I also do online to quickly upskill myself. Do you think I every day think of going back to some college to just upskill myself? No. You need to continuously evolve and learn things. And today we're in such a good place that all of that learning can be available online. All you need to do is look at the best course and the best curriculum and analyze that. But is there a difference between offline versus online? I don't think so. I think sometimes it does happen that the new age courses which are online are not offering what are offering much more than what traditional education offers. Just to give you an example, that they are giving much more projects, they're giving much more exposure, there's much more thought process behind the curriculum, behind the instructors who are going to come in. Some of these instructors are people who are actively working in the industry today, because they can't go in traditional setups, but they can easily do a workshop online. So they are available online much more than going and doing it physically. So you will see that online setup has changed the whole game in terms of education. And today it doesn't matter between the two. If you go and talk to HR, you will also realize it doesn't matter. It depends on what education, whether it's an MBA or it's the smaller certification and program courses that you're taking. You may have to check that, but you can totally upskill yourself using.
Also, as you said, curriculum is the foremost thing that matters. So
yes, curriculum matters a whole lot more. And if you're checking a traditional versus this course, and if the curriculum is better here, why would you choose the traditional one, right?
Okay. Just another question is, how did ISB shape your future, and how was your journey there? What made you go to ISB?
There was a time when, again, we were coming from 5-10 years back, right? When there were far and few colleges that used to give you the kind of growth or the platform that you felt that you needed. So at that time, there was CAT and GMAT, and CAT kiya to ekdam right after your work experience, you have to go into an MBA. So one thing that I knew about myself is I didn't want to go into an MBA right after my college, because I felt I needed to gain more experience, and I felt I needed to understand, what do I do with that MBA? There's a huge amount of time, energy and cost you're putting into an MBA or any education you're getting. If you don't know what that education is going to give back to you, and if you don't know how valued that education is in the industry, then you're going to probably be wasting it, and wasting your 2 years of your life or 1 year of your life. So what makes more sense is to maybe try out something in the field you want to get as an internship or experience, and then go into that master's. So similar way I had thought about ISB, where I said that I will try these things out. And then after I think 7 years of my experience, I decided that now that I've done all of this, I'm 100% sure of marketing. Now nobody can tell me that no marketing. And now I know that I've already gained 7 years. I can upskill myself to becoming a leader, because I have what it takes. I've already led things in a startup. We've scaled certain things. I've done different things, from sales to this to that. And I had a very unique story to tell. And in an ISB, if you were to get chosen, there was something, you have to be, I wasn't from a tech background. I didn't have a very typical this thing. You had to get the GMAT score, and you need to be extremely clear about why this MBA. But at that point, I had become extremely clear about why MBA and what I want to do. So it was a natural progression path for me. And I was looking at some colleges abroad. In India, I was looking at ISB.
That's just a cross question. As you already had the experience in startup and even big organization, what extra did you learn there? What extra edge did ISB give you? I mean,
two factors I feel that there. One is the economical or the money factor, which is not the learning or the education part. It gives you a platform to be able to make more based on your qualification and capabilities, because your capabilities get rounded and they are valued much more. They're packaged in a certain way that when you go out and ask that this is what I can do, you do get ready to get that money back in, right? So, but in terms of the other thing, which is the question that you asked, what did I gain? Confidence, self-awareness, assurance, risk-taking ability, doing everything in very short period of time. So we had just 1 year to complete the course. And they used to saying that ये 1 साल में क्या, ये 1 दिन में नहीं कर सकते, ये चीज 1 दिन में कौन करेगा, ये 2 घंटे में कौन करेगा. You used to saying that, right? इसको तो time लगेगा. At ISB it worked the opposite way. ये deadline है, करना है करो, नहीं करना मतलब gone. And you can't copy, because they have plagiarism and all उन सब चीजों के things in place, that if you're trying to copy an assignment, you could get barred, you may not even get the degree. So their strict rules are so strong that you do tell yourself कि करना है, ठीक से करना है और फिर pass करना है. So put you under that kind of simulation and that pressure that you're doing so many things at the same time. and you have people who are very similar in terms of cohort. So I also gained friends for life. I gained people who can raise me from my level. These are peers who come from similar backgrounds but have similar ambitions in terms of life. And if not anybody else who can act as a mentor today, I could just go back to these people and tell them that, hey, listen, this is where I'm struggling. What do you think? These people come from different backgrounds. It also exposed me to all of India at once. I used to think that मेरे को पता है कौन कहाँ से है, कैसे लोग हैं, क्या है. Now you become absolutely kind and empathetic and accepting of different backgrounds, because ISB has people from all the cities and states of this country, some people even from abroad, right? So sometimes some of these courses, because we study in North India or in South India, it always has regional touch much more than any of that. But some of the master's courses which are well-rounded, they take people from different states and all. So that also I gained. As I said, risk-taking ability, because 1 year you're also away from your family and now you're like on your own. You have to manage all the expenses and you have to choose between 3 things. They said out of 3 things you can do only 2 fine. So you could choose between parties, sleeping, studying, this, that, and choose those 2 or 3 well, because those are the only things you could do.
Okay. So it did add a lot to your life and to your career journey.
Personally, to me, yes, I would say that I think it was a life-changing decision and a life-changing path for me, and I owe a lot to ISB personally.
What job roles do you juggle to become a marketer? And is building brand strategies and doing product marketing, affiliate marketing, all a one-person job? या फिर ये अलग-अलग चीजें हैं and ये अलग-अलग लोग role play करते हैं इसका? Are these job profiles different or the same?
पहले मैं दूसरा question answer करती हूँ. These are different job profiles. So within marketing, there are multiple small fields, right? Or multiple niche domains. For example, digital marketing. You said PPC and affiliate marketing. Then there is SEO, search engine optimization and website, right? Which is more like organic marketing. Then there could be brand building or brand strategy. There could be content marketing. Then there could be product marketing separately, actually. So, and then there is community, growing the community organically. Some of these fields could have gray areas. Depends on startups and companies. There is also PR, public relations, that also sometimes comes under marketing, and sometimes it's a very different field within certain companies. All of these are very niche areas. If you were to study them and understand them and their roles. In a smaller company, they get merged into a marketing analyst or some of the smaller roles that aap ye bhi kar do, ye bhi kar do, ye bhi kar do. Now, in terms of positions, when someone wants to start and get into marketing, you could choose based on what you like doing or what you've studied. Let's say you enjoy writing, you could start into content marketing. If you enjoy ads, digital marketing, budgets, every day you want to see what is changing and you want to put in certain ads, do A/B testing, you could literally get into performance marketing.
Right.
If you are good at writing, good at understanding what is the company strategy, and you're very good in communication and the way you write, you could do social media marketing or public relations, right? And you write in a very witty way, or you write in a journalistic style. So if you're more of a journalist style, you could do public relations. If you're more witty or very emotionally, you can connect with the audience and you can give them something in however, whatever form, let's say. And you're good in front of the screen if you want to be, then you could totally be a social media marketer, right? Where you see Zomato Head and some of these people, they have superbly witty social media handles, right? If you are more inclined, very less towards communication, you can't write too well, but you can analyze well, your numbers are good, then you could also think of search engine optimization and look at website ke figures, ki how do I grow my organic, and you can have a content team separately doing the writing part, but you are doing the analysis part to say which keywords to improve, how do I do targeting. If you're very good, you may not be too good in communication, but you're very good at building a community. You're very good at getting people together, giving them something that's of value. and you're very jugadu in nature and growing certain things organically, or you're very business development oriented, then community growth, and you love talking, then community and community growth, organic community growth could be your thing in terms of marketing.
Growth marketer does this?
Not specifically, but it depends. Like growth marketer in different companies, it could be performance growth marketer, could also be called growth marketer. Sometimes growth marketer could specifically be that organically mere ko suddenly growth deni hai. That could be growth marketer. Sometimes it is related to campaigns, right? Also, if you are very good at, as I said, analysis and understanding what communication to give them, you're more product focused, you could do product marketing, and you could also do a lot of product based campaigns. Now, all of these are done by various junior level people, because execution is usually at a very junior level, right? So you could actually enter into marketing in any of these fields, and then slowly grow up the ladder to become the head. But if you want to be a leader, you need to have your strengths in 1 or 2 or 3 areas.
Yes.
Right? Because at a leader level, you'll need to strategize for all. Or you will have a specific niche in brand, and then content, brand, design, a lot of those things come under it. Or you could just be performance related and you're just a performance head in a big company. But for somebody who needs to become a marketing head, they need to have a brand understanding, positioning understanding, and a growth or performance SEO understanding. You need to have an understanding of it all to get to the table.
Yeah.
But before getting to the table, you could expose yourself in any of these areas, and you could even move around if required. Gain some experience here, slowly move into something else, gain some experience here, move into else, and then grow up the ladder. You could choose.
What kind of company is better to explore your own, skills and explore your own things? What am I good at? Service-based companies or product-based companies? Which one would you choose?
Product-based companies are better for marketers' exposure, but if you're very clear about service-based companies, then there's no problem. You could just become a B2B marketer. No problem in that, because the thing is that it's not that the marketing is a lot lesser. It's not that your exposure to a lot of things is lesser, and marketing is very focused on email campaigns, little less on brand marketing or positioning, much more on campaigns and email marketing. But in a product-based company, you need to figure out what is the positioning of the product. So there you have to do brand analysis, brand positioning. Videos matter a lot, explainer videos matter a lot, campaigns matter a lot, design also matters a lot. So whichever is a consumer-based company,
is better. I mean, better for exposure.
Better for exposure from a marketing perspective, and a lot more marketing impact is what you'll see. In B2B marketing, you may have a marketing impact, but it is more sales driven, and you're mostly supporting sales in a lot of things. And maybe that the brand doesn't matter to the company to that extent.
Brand awareness.
Brand building or brand awareness, it doesn't matter. It just matters to a very focused audience. So you could choose that. Basically, the difference between B2C or B2B, the service-based or a product-based company, would be, in one, you're being massy.
Yeah.
A lot more massy. In the other, you're very focused on a niche segment. Usme aapke paas काफी focused areas hai. Both of them have their own benefits, and I've been in both now, right? Both of them have their own benefits and all. Like in a B2B setup, you don't need to work weekends because no businesses are working weekends. You're not doing so much on the weekends. In a B2C setup, you need to do a lot more over the weekends. You need to do a lot more over the evening and morning and whatever time of the day when you can catch the customer and this thing, right? So when a cricket match is going on, you might still be thinking, how do I use it for my marketing?
Yeah.
In a B2C setup. But in a B2B, everybody could be like, aaj chutti hai, koi business available hi nahi hai, to aap kya karoge?
Good difference.
So yeah, from an exposure perspective, depending on what you enjoy more, you could choose. Product has definitely more exposure for marketers.
Okay. What is the key role that a product manager plays? And similarly, what does a brand strategist What is the role of a brand strategist and what is the role of a product manager? And are these both the roles same? Because a lot of people think that it's same. Is it the same?
No, they're not the same. Very, very different roles. The skill sets can sometimes be used in different areas. It is possible that you've developed some skill sets in a certain role and you can get into the other role and use that skill set to your advantage or to that role's advantage, right? So a product manager I don't want to talk about because that's a very product focused role. It's not as much of a marketing role, a product manager, okay? But a product marketing manager is a role that comes under marketing. Okay. Let me explain this role a little. What is a product marketing manager? A product marketing manager owns a product like a business.
Okay.
It could be a feature, it could be a product, and you have to ensure or run campaigns, drive revenue through that feature or that product. So you have to decide the go-to market for that product. You have to do the packaging, you have to do the videos, you have to understand your consumer, you have to place it at the right place and drive adoption on that feature or on that product.
So the product manager basically does a lot of innovation as well.
Innovation to brand में भी होगा, इधर भी होगा, but a product marketing manager focuses on a single product of a company, okay? And it goes all out end to end in that product. So for example, let's say within Swiggy, I have been given, like it is Swiggy Genie, Swiggy this, Swiggy that. I'm a product marketing manager for Swiggy Genie only. Now I have to do any kind of communication planning, brand building, revenue or sales, whatever, everything from a product marketing perspective for Swiggy Genie. So there you need to figure out, like if in a B2B setup, in a product marketing role in a B2B setup, you will have to do, let's say, the brochure for that feature. You will have to do email marketing campaigns for that feature. You will have to understand and segment the audience, understand when do I send the communication to the audience? Do they perceive the communication well? How many click rates happened? How many people came back into the sales pipe? End-to-end understanding of the product. So you're doing revenue mapping of the product also. Is it growing? Are people adopting this product? Are they not adopting it? Why are they not adopting it? What can I change as a feature? Where can I put this nudge? How can I understand that consumer psyche and present my product back to them? That is product marketing management, right?
And what is brand strategist then? Who's the brand?
Brand strategist is at a company level. Company turns into a brand. For example, Coca-Cola, Almabetter, ezetap. Each company will have a brand which has some positioning or some perception in your mind. If I ask you Coca-Cola, you'll remember something. Either it's a color or it's a jingle or it's an actor, right? So let's say in a phone pay or a Paytm, when I ask you, when I say Paytm, what do you remember? You'd be like, Paytm karo. So that is the work of a brand strategist.
Right. To make remembrance in a person's mind.
Yeah, to take a company's name and turn it into a brand which has some connect with the customer in a way that the customer remembers the brand with certain colors, with certain taglines, with certain positioning, or what do they feel this brand does for them.
Yeah.
So Paytm Karo is a jingle, but it makes you feel कि Paytm है तो मैं पैसे इधर से उधर बड़ा आसान है. So you've already built a perception about that company and that name. That is a brand. वो जीता जागता कोई personality है. So if you think about Chaitali, somebody will say some characteristics. Same about Paytm बोलेंगे उसके कोई characteristics सोचेंगे. वो जो characteristics हैं उस पे brand strategist ने काम किया है. And जब उन्होंने सोचा है कि ये characteristics और ये persona define होता है इस brand का, then they decide how do I push it to my consumers? What will the color look like? How will the communication go out? कितनी जगह पे stickers डालूं? कितनी brand awareness बढ़ाऊं? ब्रांड की पोजीशनिंग, ऐसे कौन सी कंपनी है जो वहां पे पोजीशन नहीं और हम ये वाला पोजीशनिंग ले सकते हैं, और उस पोजीशनिंग पे क्या मैं communication भेजूं, क्या PR करूं, क्या colors लूं, क्या stickers लगाऊं, that is full brand strategy.
Even the jingle, the music of the jingle, Paytm Karo, it's
That
so
would be,
catchy
it
that
is
both of us remembered, and it's in our mind.
exactly. So that's a brand strategy gone right. The
Hmm.
strategist figured out, whoever was the brand head, they figured out certain ways in which the brand should be known in the minds of the customer,
Right.
right? And from that perspective, the colors are very consistent over there. No matter what you see, you know what are the colors of Paytm. You know how the logo is written.
Right.
You know, अगर आपने कोई पोस्ट देखी, you'll be like ये तो Paytm से, आप लोगो हटा दो और बस फॉन्ट में लिख दो और एक कलर्स लिख दो, you'll be like ये Paytm है.
That is the work of a brand strategist.
Exactly. It may not be, not everybody will have the exposure, but when you start entering the marketing field, you will start understanding what are the nuances and how is A different from B.
I think marketing is the new age job, and it has so many things. मतलब it's still not bifurcated properly, and मतलब it's still not out there. जैसे क्या होता है engineering, medical field में भी ना लोगों को पता होता है कि ये चीजें हैं जिसमें आप जा सकते हो. These are the specialization that you can go. I think in marketing field, जैसे आपने बताया कि बहुत लोग marketing सुन के sales समझते हैं, या मतलब normally marketing का सोचते हैं कि कुछ sell करना है. But marketing also has that storytelling format now with the digital media coming in picture.
I think the problem is that marketing never started off back in school as a subject.
Yeah.
So whether it's engineering or some of these things, you know, engineering आपके college की graduation में ही start हो जाता है. If we can have a course on marketing in the graduation that exposes people to different aspects of marketing, then it makes it a lot better for people. So understanding will be a lot better.
Yeah.
But maybe the reason behind it is also that if we look at the numbers, maybe there are 10, 20, 30% of people who might be going into marketing, but there might be 70% of engineers going into product or tech fields.
Yeah.
If you see the division that how many are in marketing, the need might be a lot lesser. Because the need might be a lot lesser in an overall bigger picture, that's why that importance may not be coming at a college level. That we need to start this at a graduation level, let it be a specialization. But yeah, even I'd love to understand, because it looked like a very niche field, and when I come in, it's vast.
It's vast.
So I would suggest that at some point people should get exposure into what does marketing really mean. Also, the bigger part is that even if you were starting your own companies, even if you yourself are a person doing your freelancing, you should get exposed to marketing, because each person needs marketing.
Yeah. Today it is a necessity.
Yeah, like even you are a brand or could be a brand, but what is the brand that you're establishing? Nobody understands. Chaitali Bhatia could be establishing a brand for herself. And when I say establishing, I don't need to set up a website to establish it. When you think of Chaitali Bhatia, there is something that you think of. That is my brand.
Right.
Each of us are building a brand for ourselves. And if we understood this early on, we would have been working on marketing or understanding marketing very, very differently, right? Because the first brand everybody works on is yourself.
Yeah. That starts with your Orkut and Facebook profile as well, guys.
Exactly. That's your brand strategy, right? Who are you? How should you present yourself? What should you be known as? When people say your name, what do they remember? What are the keywords that come to their mind? What does your profile show? All that, if you do it at a company level, is a brand strategy.
Okay. With that, we'll be coming to our next question. As you have told us that you have worked at EasyPay. Was it EasyPay?
ezetap by razorpay.
Okay. So as you have said that you have worked at ezetap at razorpay, how was your experience there and what was your job role there?
At ezetap by razorpay, but when I joined ezetap by razorpay, I joined in as a senior manager.
Okay.
It was a B2B company, payments related services for businesses.
Right.
So my focus on marketing was how can I make my brand known among a very niche target audience. Within that, we had kirana stores as our retail sector. We had the bigger businesses, governments को भी money either उधर करना है, so they also need machines, right? So they were our second segment, and the third big segment were large corporates like Xiaomi, Airtel, you name it, anybody and everybody which is a large corporate, and they want to accept money from their customers.
Right.
That was the third big segment. इन 3 कंज्यूमर सेगमेंट्स की मार्केटिंग करनी होती थी, जहां पे रिटेल को अगर आपको मार्केट करना है, उनके माइंड में नोन होना है, उधर कुछ कैंपेन करना है, उधर अडॉप्शन चाहिए, तो क्या बनाओगे? उसके लिए क्या ब्रोशर दोगे टू मेक देम अंडरस्टैंड? उसके में क्या ब्रोशर दोगे टू मेक देम अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट इज दिस प्रोडक्ट, why do they need to buy it, what is the value for them in it? तो वो रिटेल सेगमेंट में करना.
ezetap का competitor I think was BharatPay, and what other competitors did you guys have at that time?
So the competitors we had at the time were Pine Labs. There were many other companies, like abroad there was Stripe, Adyen. In India there was Pine Labs, M-Swipe. All of these companies were there. I'm not sure if BharatPay also has a device. So just to give you a brief example. So then maybe BharatPay, which was a recent entry. So, right? And in some categories, like in the retail category, even a PhonePe and a Paytm would become our competitors. In the retail category, they were the big players in the retail category. In the government and enterprise category, we were one of the biggest. And the other big competitors were Pine Labs and M-Swipe, as I said, right? There were also...
what was your job role? We were on that.
The job role. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of my job role, as I said, I was heading the marketing team. In that, I was taking care of social media. Okay. Obviously, I had a team for everything, but we had social media, branding. The branding was more in terms of website, offline branding in terms of stickers on the device. How should the brand look like on the device? Okay. What should be the colors? What should be the language? What should be the tonality? Tagline. Then brochures or communication to our target audience. How do we want to communicate to our target audience? What is the product go to market? If this is a feature or product we've taken out, then how do we take it to market? Where do we launch it? How do we communicate to the audience? How do we educate the audience on it? What brochure do we leave with them? Should we make a video for them as an explainer video or not? Should we make a community for them and then launch it? All of those things. And then there were campaigns. Banks were also one of our clients, where banks already had customers, retail customers, a lot of retailers and a lot of enterprise companies were already customers of the banks. These customers wanted devices,
right,
to accept payments. And ezetap was a conduit that allowed banks to retain their customers by giving our devices. So we said, banks, you guys pay us the money for the device, and banks would take a separate subscription charge from their customers for those devices. So for us, the customers were also banks. So then bank as a segment को वहां पे उस कस्टमर को कैसे करना, उनको कैसे ट्रेनिंग देनी है, उसको क्या मार्केटिंग करनी है, उनको न्यूज़लेटर्स भेजना.
Any strategy that you remember that worked pretty well? Any small bit that you want to share with us?
Yes. So just to give an example, I won't take the names of the banks and all of it, but a large bank has a base of customers and it wants its customers to start buying our devices. So we did an email campaign on their customers, did a campaign through our apps also for adoption on their customers. And through both the things, we were able to gain like huge percentage in terms of adoption. So all the existing customers mein adoption humne increase kari. All the new customers mein more and more devices they wanted to buy because they learned more about the products. So these were some of the campaigns that I remember that were very, very successful. And those banks came back and asked us that, can you train us? How did you get these rates? How did you get to this adoption number? What kind of messaging? So
it happened through email marketing?
Email marketing, yes. And some of it through app marketing, जहाँ पे आप notifications, nudges, campaign पे हो, and उस campaign पे कोई feature use करने पे कोई amount gift करते हो, तो just feature use किया, that's called gamification campaign and all. So अगर किसी ने ये amount use किया, we will pay you this much amount of money and all of it.
जैसे cashback होता है.
Something on those lines. So that's like a campaign, right? Cashback is a campaign to increase your adoption. आपको अगर गूगल पे आप यूज कर रहे हो और फोन पे यूज कर रहे हो, सो वो जो आपको कैशबैक मिलता है, it's a campaign to increase your adoption on Google Pay or phone pay.
Okay.
There is a product manager sitting there thinking that how do I make Chaitali and Swikriti do a lot more of Google Pay and phone pay. So let me give them some cashback. Let me, हर बार वो ये करेंगे तो मैं उनको ये दूंगी, वो करेंगे तो ऐसे दूंगी. And then they look at what is our behavior. Once they understand कि अरे ये लोग behave ही नहीं कर रहे, खोल ही नहीं रहे, उसको use ही नहीं कर रहे, then they'll change the plan. But if you start adopting it, they'll be like, oh wow, we've already reached this. Now I want to increase the amount or decrease the amount. Okay. Then how many notifications I should send to Swikriti and Chaitali so that they read my notification?
Yeah.
When do I send that notification to them? Are they opening the notification or not?
What is the average salary a marketer can earn? If you can tell us an average of a marketing manager or a product manager, if you want to bifurcate and tell us, or you just want to give an average of as a whole as a marketer, then you can tell us that as well.
Pre-MBA, the salary packages can range from early salaries can range from 3 to 5 or 3 to 10. At the manager level, they can range from 10 to 18 or 20.
Okay.
For a product manager, usually it's a very critical role and you also have an ROI or direct revenue impact.
Okay.
They could be earning a lot more. Especially product marketing managers and all. And sometimes in some of these roles, they also expect people with a very strong background in terms of analytics or an MBA or some of it. Their salaries could be ranging from 20 to 30 as well in the starting bit, right? These are the ranges.
Okay. So as a beginner, when you start, you can expect 3 to 5. As soon as you move towards a managerial position, 10, 20.
Yes.
After MBA.
Yes. Pre-MBA also, you could be earning easily between 10 to 20. But post-MBA, you can expect above 20. Above 15 for sure, depending on the kind of colleges. So above 20 these days I'm also talking about my times. So I don't know these times, I'm sure with the inflation and all, it must be above 20, 25 at least.
Okay. Moving on to that you pursued psychology. As we started talking about psychology in the beginning of our conversation, how did it add value to your personal journey? I mean, professionally, we got to know how it did in understanding consumer psychology, but how did it add to your personality?
I think a lot of people don't give a lot of importance to psychology as a subject. And as you grow up the ladder or as you get on the other side of 30 and you keep growing, you start realizing that self-awareness is very, very important. And a lot of people are living with less than 50% self-awareness, and because of which a dissonance starts happening with who I am, why am I doing this, am I happy, not happy, these are my strengths or these are not my strengths, how am I talking, you're not empathetic. As in when you rise up the ladder, you try to, sometimes there are people who are very, very assertive or very, very rude, just listen to me. So I feel psychology allows you to understand yourself better and other people better, and it also allows your interpersonal skills to get a lot better. How so? Just to give you an example, before I took up the journey of psychology, I didn't quite understand what am I feeling, why am I feeling this, what does the situation expect of me, why is my team going to behave a certain way, how can I help them come together and work collaboratively, right? So if somebody has studied psychology, they understand human behavior. And if you start understanding human behavior, you're more empathetic to all kinds of behavior. You understand where do I need to, you stop being rude to no matter what the behavior you see. You start understanding how can I respond to this situation, right? you also start responding to your own emotions and your own understanding of yourself. So I think in general also it helps in interpersonal relationships. It helps you connect a lot better with people and understand what they are feeling or where they are coming from a lot better. So the whole understanding of situations becomes so much better that you can work or use it to your advantage to grow up the ladder and become a better leader.
Yeah.
And what differentiates a good leader or a good manager from a bad manager is again the self awareness and the understanding of the team, and how can I get them to the next position, right? How can I make them work together? A bad manager would be very rude, would not be heard,
Yeah.
people won't respect them. They don't understand people, people don't understand them. It's mutual. I'm closed, you're closed. I don't care about you, you don't care about
You
me.
cannot be a good leader if you're
Then
not
you can't.
empathetic and you cannot understand other people's emotion or psychology.
Right. So I think psychology becomes very, very important from an early day perspective for your own self and individual growth, for your team's growth, and for your personal career journey, especially at the leadership level. I think in all of these areas, it becomes extremely important. So, yeah, it has helped me a lot.
Being a woman, you have worked across organizations of different sizes. In your 14 years of journey, what are some of your learning as a woman, and how can a woman achieve the same level of salary as men do? I ask you this because I still feel that a lot of female are paid less than at the same position as the man is working. And similarly, like, have you faced such issues till now in your career?
Fortunately, no.
Okay.
And I'm glad I haven't.
Uh,
But I would definitely be very outspoken if something like that happens. And I don't think I would agree to a situation like that. If I'm equally capable, I got to earn the same amount of money. So, fortunately, in marketing, I've not had people with similar experiences, and they're just men and they would be earning a lot more. And I think also in the urban spaces and all of the startups and all, it is more merit or outcome or your capability based than gender based, right?
Yeah.
And people have started recognizing that. They do. The other part is, do you attach as much value to what you could earn? For example, if a male counterpart goes and says I deserve this much, and a female counterpart goes and says I deserve half of that, it is not the fault of the organization paying them.
Yeah.
And it is not even a female's fault, but it is a lack of understanding or self awareness on part of the female to not know what they are worth. So that is upon us. So one of the few things that you say as women that I've understood through this journey is, women are a lot less assertive, women are a lot less outspoken in what they and I don't speak for all women, I just speak in general and what I've seen and how I've been. And I would also give an answer to the other part of it. Women also are very we as women, we feel that we under project a lot of things or undersell ourselves. We take things very emotionally and very personally in terms of feedback. We feel consistently, or we project that we are failing more than we are. If I were to do a discussion with a male versus a female, I would see more of the females saying that, yeah, I know I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this. And a male would be like, oh, I know I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, right? So, and this is again coming from my own journey, even from the team, from friends, everything. It's how you view yourself. But it also comes from the fact, the way the society, environment, the way we were brought up. Women were, as a woman, I was taught not to speak up, say yes to everything. लड़कियां नहीं बोलती हैं, हस्बैंड के सामने ज्यादा मुंह नहीं खोलना है, इन लॉज के सामने नहीं बोलना है. We come from those kind of traditional families and societies where it was taught that a good woman knows when to remain silent, and that becomes that's who we wanted to be as people, that we want to be a good woman, a good partner. And they used to call it like, these are the value systems. You don't have values if you talk and give answers, or you're too outspoken. This woman is a black sheep in the family. That's how it was spoken about, right? And abhi bhi agar aap kahin families ke andar jaoge, you'll see the women sitting demurely, chupchap baitho, zyada bolna nahi, given that we come from that background. It might be changing a lot. A lot of us have very good parenting and a lot of positive influence in the houses. It will take some time for all of that to fully change. But at least we should be fully aware of all of these environmental factors being different in our households, and understand that those gender differences stem from the households and the environment in the way we were brought up. Yeah. Can you change it in one day? No. Can you recognize and accept that this is there, and therefore I am not 100% sure of how I should be and how I should talk? Yes, that's going to be there. But over time, with more and more examples of women leaders coming up, we start understanding what we could be, what are the new rights and wrongs, even though we could be all defining it ourselves. But even from a societal and other perspectives, you'll start understanding, oh, this is absolutely right to do. If I don't do this, I will not become that. And maybe going and learning from some women leaders, right? And I think that today also I see at the leadership table, there are a lot less women leaders there. 10%, 20%, 30% is the highest I've seen it. And that too, if it is a 30%, I'll be shocked, right? So, and that is not representative of our society. That is not representative. If we need to have a gender balance, we need to have that balance of the leadership to be speaking about women and how they deserve certain equal opportunities. Now, if you'll say that, is it opportunity based that women themselves haven't projected themselves in the right way to be at the leadership table? Possibly. Which means all of us together have to start knowing what we can do better, how we could speak about our strengths, how we could leverage our strengths and talk about our promotions or salary negotiations, how we need to stop underselling ourselves. I remember one of the CEOs of a former organization, we used to speak to each other, and he was like, Chaitali, I want to understand this about you and in general about women. If you're so good at your work, why do you not come and speak about so many things? Why do I not see you raising a point? Are you scared to speak up in a meeting? Are you scared? And I thought about a lot of those things, right? And they even asked that, are you scared to say no to something that you should be saying no to? And all those points were true. I was just never raised or just never understood that let everybody speak, then I'll speak up. And all of these things are something that we need to change to be able to see ourselves at the leadership table. So if we can start becoming conscious of our own selves and become good friends to all of the women and start supporting each other. In fact, there are men also I've seen who are like this, who have that. So if we can support men and women, whoever needs that voice, whoever is not fighting for themselves, look at themselves in a certain way, but they're doing good work. It starts from us, and then it has to trickle down to other people around us. I think we could be that seed of change, and we will very soon start seeing a lot more women. We're seeing a lot more women starting up. But if you talk about if all of those women are getting the funding, no, men are getting much more funding than the women.
That is the reason why I had this question.
Right?
I could see a lot of women coming into leadership roles, but they don't know their own values and they self-underrate themselves.
Exactly.
I am not worth so
Exactly.
And also finances. We are not so aware about our own finances is something I would say that we don't know how much we need.
Right. So I think men are very used to being, not being in the gray, being a black or white, knowing what they want, usually rate themselves better than how they might be performing, which is good for them. But which is where, and women go through a lot of imposter syndrome, which means even if they've done well, they question their own abilities. We need to start identifying, accepting these things to be able to get better and break those glass ceilings that we have, because some of it has been created by us only, right? And if we start talking, start accepting, start getting better, start treating ourselves better, then yes, you'll see that the women will be going far ahead and will be at. Also, there is a huge recognition of the fact that women bring in more empathy. So the way women manages a team versus a lot of men, the way they manage a team, women bring people together. There's a lot of nurturing attitude. They bring in a lot of empathy, and with a lot of men, sometimes they lack some of those things. So I think we can also bring those. There are some strengths that each of the gender has, and if we can understand that at the table, at the leadership table, even amongst peers, we could learn from each other's strengths and make ourselves better.
Last but not the least, how do you keep yourself updated in this marketing world, and how do you become a unique marketer today? I mean, what's that extra amp that you need to have, and how do you keep, updating it? How do you keep updating your own skills?
I think that should have been a question early on, where who could become a marketer is one of the questions, but how can you become an effective marketer is an altogether different question.
Yeah.
Anybody can start into marketing, anybody can start their journey, but not everybody is as effective. So to become an effective marketer and to grow up the ladder, there are a lot of things that you need. For example, you may need to develop strong communication skills, strong writing and spoken skills. You need to be aware of the industry, what's happening, and marketing keeps evolving. I think you have to always be open to new learnings. So marketing field is one of the field which keeps evolving at a very fast pace. And I think it becomes very, very important to keep learning from other people. Sometimes you should subscribe to newsletters, take short courses, be open to learning from people who are doing well, keep yourself updated on latest news and all. Understand what are the big companies doing, what are the updates. You have to understand what is the new medium and what is it that people are adopting to. So marketing will keep evolving based on people's behaviors. If your behavior is to watch a lot of TV, marketing used to be a lot about TV advertisement. And how do I grab my audience attention over there? If you're going to be watching OTT, depending on what behavior, what cab you're using, auto use kar rahe ho, kahan pe aap ho, and then how do I grab your attention? So if you're on the phone, so understanding what are the consumers doing and how our habits and trajectories are changing. If our habits and lifestyles are changing, then where do I need to offer? Depending on which medium are you spending the most time on, that's where my messaging has to go. And so you have to be aware of where consumers are going, where are they spending time, what are the new gadgets or what are the new platforms, communication ways that people are adopting to, what are the new channels of communication. In terms of what is the new media, is video long form versus short form doing well? What is it that is resonating with the audience much more now? Who are the people, even in terms of actors and all, are resonating with the people much more? Are they even looking at, remember, celebrities used to be big at a point in time. Now anybody has kind of become a celebrity. So brands have moved from using celebrity endorsements to influencer endorsements, right? So now that was never a part of a marketing curriculum 5 years, 7 years back. Now it has to be a part of marketing curriculum. So you have to be very, very conscious of and observant of what is changing around you and how it's going to impact marketing. And if you don't do that, you don't learn and evolve. So be updated on all of these aspects. On top of it, understand consumer psychology very strongly, no matter what you're doing. Don't think I'm the best writer or I'm the best brand strategist. I understand campaigns without understanding the consumer. So develop consumer psyche, develop thought process or an approach of consumer psyche and wanting to understand मेरे consumer को क्या चाहिए, कौन है ये, can I put myself in their shoes? Now let me think, what do I give them? And being very open to new experimental ideas, because marketing में जो viral जाता है वो suddenly new होता है. So Instagram रील्स, ये सब चीज़ें नहीं है जो वायरल गई हैं और इन सब के आइडियाज़ न्यू हैं। सो अगर मैं ट्रेडिशनल माइंडसेट के साथ बैठ जाऊँगी, टीम को बोलूँगी ग्रोथ चाहिए, कुछ ग्रोथ नहीं आएगी। आई नीड टू इवॉल्व विद द टाइम्स एंड बी वेरी ओपन टू न्यू एक्सपेरिमेंटल आइडियाज़ एंड या keep analyzing and critically analyzing the amount of money you're spending and what return is it giving to you as a marketer. If I've put in 10,000 rupees, what am I gaining out of it for the company? And the last bit for a marketer is evolve with the times, especially this AI and tools. If you don't understand how to use the tools, you will not evolve and you will not be able to scale. Given that we have to scale at a very, very quick pace, you have to start adopting technology and tools and viewing them as a best friend. Not saying that tools are taking away my job. Tools आपकी job नहीं ले जाएंगे अगर आप tools के साथ grow करोगे. But अगर आप tools को समझोगे ही नहीं और AI को कहोगे ये मेरी job ले जाएगा तो पक्का job जाएगी.
I think that is the next trend, that is the next pick that we have to hop on, and I think that is the only way where we can also grow as a marketer.
Yes.
I think it was great talking to you, Chaitali. It was fun chatting with you, with all the setting that we did in between.
Yeah, I know so much of up and down, but I think it was more like a chat and a conversation between us.
Yeah.
And it seemed you yourself had a lot, in your mind running, because I could really see how engaged you were in the conversation. But I can totally sense that how a lot of viewers who are going to view this, how much they could gain from it, because 10 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back, I wish I had these things and I had somebody who could tell me what is it that I need to do? How do I think about these things? How do I go about taking some decisions? Where do I start? What does marketing mean? Is it for me or not? And yeah, if people are looking for more such questions, I'm more than happy to answer it outside of this conversation as well.
I'll put down your LinkedIn ID.
Yes.
So that people can contact you directly if they have any further question related to marketing and so.
Yes.
And it was honestly great talking to you. I wish we can do a physical, meetup or, chit chat conversation if we have anything else coming up. And good luck with your Almabetter, where you're currently working. I see it's quite the podcast that you do is quite enjoyable. You get a lot of learning out of there as well.
Yes.
So people can go and watch that as well.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for sharing it. I think we do a podcast for Almabetter with Almabetter alumni. Whether or not somebody wants to get into the tech sector, personally for me, there was a lot of learning from the podcast because these are people who've done online learning, जो हमारे time में इतना positively देखा नहीं जाता था उस time पे. They have changed their lives. They are earning the kind of salary that we didn't think people would earn at this stage.
I saw 49 lakh package and I
Exactly, right? So they have turned their lives around, and if they have been able to do it, then they are good examples for so many others. You don't have to follow a certain path a certain way only to get there. You could make your own path. And for me, interviewing them, it helped me understand that how beautifully they turned out or churned out their paths, and not many of them speak English too well. Not as much as I would speak to you, right? But they were still confident of what they could do. They put in the hard work and the passion, and if you could do that, you can achieve the things that these guys have achieved. And the fact that they had a never give up attitude, all of them. So for me, anybody who wants to learn those things should go watch that podcast because there are a good number of life learnings out of that podcast is what I would say.
And do watch this till the end. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the questions, the answer, and the entire journey that Chaitali has gone through. I hope this podcast, this conversation does add value to you guys as well. So thank you so much, Chaitali. It's time to say bye-bye to you.
Thank you, Sweekriti. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care.